Here we are, everyone, looking at some notes for our next assignment where we will be writing equations in slope-intercept form. What that means is all of our answers are going to look like what you see in that oval there, except M and B are going to be numbers. So to write an equation in slope-intercept form, well, you will need a slope and the y-intercept. So your job is to get those two numbers and place them in for M and B. Okay, so we'll start with the easiest case. The notes are a little bit out of order from the assignment, but I'll do them in the same order. So the assignment starts like this. You're given the slope. You're given the y-intercept. All you have to do is write the equation. So instead of y equals mx, I have a number for m, the slope. So the 2 goes here. And normally it would say plus b on the end. Well, b is the y-intercept. Well, look, I'm given the y-intercept, so I just put it on the end of the equation. And if you're thinking, is that it? What else do I? That is it. Okay, now obviously there's more to do, but not in these examples. So same. There's the slope, 7/10, that's m. There's y-intercept, 6. That's b, so I'll replace this m with 7/10 and that b with a 6. And since it's positive, I'll put a plus in front of the 6. Whereas over here it was -9, so I put a minus in front of 9. There are 4 of these on the assignment. You should go through those pretty quickly. After that, you're going to have to do basically the same thing, except you're going to have tables, XY tables. Now, the directions say verify that it's linear, like we did in the last assignment. Remember, we'd go all the way down the table and see if it was doing the same thing. You don't have to do that. These are linear. So again, we still need slope and y-intercept. So this first one's all done. Let's see what all this writing means. For the slope, you would just do what I just did. Go from 14 to 20, well, that's up 6. From 4 to 6 is up 2. I only have to do it one time. Rise over run. My slope is 6 over 2, and you can see it right there. And I divided it. If it divides evenly, I normally will. So I just found m, the slope. The 2 examples I already showed you, that their slope was just given to you. Okay, so now y-intercept, here's what you look for. You look for 0 in the x column. See, if x is 0, I think the I got cut off there. If x is 0, this number next to it is the y-intercept. Think about graphing. If you graph an ordered pair where x is 0, you're on the y-axis. So that 2 gets placed right here. So the y-intercept is 2. So I had to get my information out of that table, then I write the equation. Slope goes here, y-intercept goes here. Okay, so let's try 2. So a couple questions. You might ask, well, what numbers do I use to get the slope? It doesn't matter. You always get the same answer. Some people like to avoid the negatives, so just come down here. From 60 to 50 is down 10, and it's real important to have that sign, because that might be a negative slope. From 0 to 1 goes up 1. So my slope is rise over run. Remember, we always subtracted the y numbers in the numerator? So my slope is -10 over 1, and I'm just going to call it -10. My y-intercept, I look for the 0. At 0 must be the x number. That 60 is my y-intercept. It's just a visual. Write the equation, so instead of mx, m is the slope. Don't forget x, by the way. And b is this y-intercept number. Since it's positive 60, I'll put a plus there. Okay, moving on to the last example for the tables. Okay, now we have some decimals. I'll show you a little something you might like. If you don't want to deal with these decimals, you can jump over them. And if you're wondering, are you allowed to do that? Yes, or I wouldn't be showing you. So I'll just go from here. From 1 to 0 is down 1. Now if I jumped over this over here, I have to do the same thing. And from -2 to 0, think the number line, that's going to the right 2. So my slope is -1 over 2. Don't write these slopes upside down. Remember, rise over run, and that's written up there on the first one. Y-intercept, again, you look for 0 in the x column. It looks like 0 is our y-intercept, so this one goes through the origin. Write your equation. Y equals -1/2 x. If you want to put plus 0 on the end, you can, but again, you would not see that on standardized testing. So that's what you'll have to do for the tables. And finally, for the graphs. You still need those 2 pieces of information. We've done this, finding slope. Remember making our steps? You make us, looks like a triangle, and it looks like I went up 2 and over 3. Rise over run. My slope is 2 over 3. Now the y-intercept, all you do is look, where does this line cross the y-axis? You see it cross right there? That's where the 2 lines cross. Our line and the y-axis cross at -3 on the y-axis. So again, you're just looking at it for that information and write your equation. Y equals 2/3 x minus 3. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'll make my step. I'll trace those blocks. So it looks like a 1 here and a 3 there. Now the line's falling down from left to right, so that slope is negative. Rise and run. Remember, rise is always your vertical number. Run is always your horizontal. It's 3 over 1, which I'm just going to call -3. And the y-intercept, where does our line cross the y-axis? Crosses it right there. And look at that number on the y-axis. It's +1. Just found it. Finishing touches. -3x plus 1. So that's what the assignment is going to have you do, and I'll show you what it looks like. So there are 4 where you're given slope and y-intercept. Just write your 4 equations. Done. Very quickly. There are 4 where you have tables. Okay, remember, just pick one place on the table you're going to go. You might go 14 to 22 and 6 to 10. Look what the numbers are doing. They all have a 0 in the x column somewhere. So you'll be able to find your y-intercept. And there are 4 graphs. Oh, make sure you fill in all the lines. Write your slope, write your y-intercept. And of course, your answer goes on the big space. Your answer is the equation. And 4 graphs, there are 2 here. You write your slope, y-intercept, and the equation. That little arrow tells you flip the paper over. Well, it would be electronic paper. And there are 2 on the back. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, good luck on your assignment. See you next time.